Welcome to Div Tech 101, aka Black Mental, as we discuss information technology, also known as IT. In today's episode, what I want to talk to you about is exploring the future in artificial intelligence and the metaverse, which includes insights and predictions. So, I want you to think back for a second. Think back in the 1960s when you had shows like the Flintstones and the Jetsons. What was the biggest difference between those two shows?
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
When you look at the Flintstones, it was based on a prehistoric age, and their technology and the type of technology that they had was basically dinosaurs and animals helping them to get around, whether it was flying somewhere by using a pterodactyl, or they was rolling around with their dinosaur, or in their cars with stone tires and everything. It was such a lot of comedy embedded within that. But then, in the same token, when you have a show like the Jetsons that was really based on sci-fi, it was kind of mocking what the Flintstones were doing because it was completely opposite. So on one end you had no technology, and the other end you had technology that you wouldn't even think would exist. What I want to break down in today's episode is I want to break down on how the show, the Jetsons, helped. As far as what we can remember, it really showed us some insight on what we were getting ready to see in the near future. Now, on the Jetsons alone, by itself, as I said, it came out in the 1960s, about the same time when the Flintstones came out. Now, over the course of different sitcoms, movies, we've seen different pieces of technology slightly embedded in there as props, but we didn't think that they were going to go that far. So what I want to do is basically play just a little short clips here of the Jetsons itself because I really want you all to be able to see some of the information that is there. So we're going to get into it here in just a second. Let me go ahead and jump over to it here. So I want you to just kind of pay attention to some of the things that's going on in here because I really want you to see it. And we're gonna go past this here. All right. So what I want you to do, and I'm gonna stop the video periodically because I really want you all to be able to. I want to be able to stop and actually talk through some of the points that were pretty interesting in here. And this is just a short clip here. All right, so actually we're going to change to. Okay, this one is the one I like more. All right, so think about the robot there for a second. The robots we currently are experiencing them like right now. So with how we use them in manufacturing, if that makes any sense, that's how we're using robots in terms of how we operate within manufacturing facilities and things like that. I'm going to switch over to pictures, you all, because I don't want to get no copyright information or flags or anything. But I do want to just basically just show you some key points. So let me actually find some of the shots that I'm looking at here. All right, so this particular image right here, we're looking more at more at a computer from the screen, as you can see there. Probably can see just a tad bit, and want to find another shot that I think we should pretty much should be able to see here. Because I'm trying to find, and there was a short clip earlier that I was looking at that was showing me some really insightful information. Let me jump back here. So there was a point where there was a hologram, and the hologram was basically showing him and his wife watching a movie, and I thought that was so interesting because that's the age that we're in right now, is basically being able to see people in a virtual sense in what we call the metasphere. Let's see if this one is it. Nope, that isn't it. So I think I found the clip that I was looking for here. All right, so we got the conveyor there. We got a computer, printer, spitting out. Another supercomputer. Robot. Explained that a moment ago. I want you to pay real close attention to this part right here. So we got a. Okay, so if you look really close, what you will see right here on that side, you're going to see like a hologram, right? And that hologram that you're seeing is basically what we currently have right now. So when you think about in the concept of a hologram, from what I was reading, was discovered around in the 60s, but in about 2013 is when people really got the opportunity to see a hologram. And it was somebody that had a concert somewhere with a hologram. I cannot remember who that was, but during that time, like, we just were just now seeing that, but they were showing it in the Jetsons back in the 1960s. So interesting. And the rest of it is kind of just them hanging out. But the Jetsons were so interesting in terms of the type of technology that they were showing during that time. We couldn't even imagine showing something like that. And even though the Flintstones was before that, the Flintstones is more prehistoric, and then the Jetsons is what we see as of now. Now, this one was another interesting one. When you looked at the show Inspector Gadget, what you would have probably didn't notice as a kid, because I thought it was like really cool, but I didn't think that we would actually have this. But when you look at Penny, for example, I believe she was Inspector Gadget's niece in the show. Did you all realize that Penny had a smartwatch at the time? Like, who and please put this in the comments below, but who would have ever thought that we would be able to talk to someone through a watch? I mean, I feel like right now we're currently in the Flintstone age. We had not yet made it to the automation aspect of what the Jetsons were. Like, keep that in mind as you're going through this, but that alone right there was a pretty interesting concept that they placed in there. And sure enough, right now, we currently have that. And there was another cool picture that another person had put out there, and that one was the one over here to the right. If you look at it, you have the Apple Watch below there, and then it shows a picture of Penny using her smartwatch. But with that being stated, people, in terms of where we are right now in society, would you have thought that we would have had that particular type of technology? So whether you're a tech enthusiast or you're just curious about technology, I really hope today's episode just gave you some insight. Now, we're going to definitely be getting into more serious conversations about things like this, and this is basically to be more informational and more insightful, and just see if we can predict the outcome later on down the line. I currently think right now that we are, even though we technically have a lot of things going on, I feel like right now that the position that we're in is still prehistoric to what we are about to experience in the years to come. So like, listen, subscribe to the channel, DevTech 101, aka Black Mantle. Look forward to bringing more content to you soon.